Yo, what's up, guys? It's Ben10clem here, back with the Ben10clem poll for college football. And this is going to be an interesting year, I think, especially for my favorite team, the Clemson Tigers. We have, well, to explain, this poll is similar to the AP poll in how I would rate the teams out of who I think's the best at the moment and going forth and so on, etc. I'm not doing it like the JP poll, the Josh Pate poll. He does it based on like if you put each team like next to each other and they played each other in neutral field favorability. I don't really base my poll around that, but I kind of use that at the same time. So I kind of mix his poll and the AP poll together. So yeah, that's what I got and that's what I have. But yeah, we're gonna go and get started with number one. Number one, I have Texas. That's a lot of people's number one choice. Texas was very, very good last year. This year, I think they're going to be strong again. They really didn't lose a lot. They still have a strong defense, a very strong offense, and we'll see how Arch Manning does. He's a really well talked up QB. We'll see how he plays for the whole season. If it's good, we'll see. But right now, I have them at one because they have the most talent, and I think they do have the best looking roster out there. Number two is Penn State. Penn State is easily, I think, the second best roster, or probably the best team in the Big Ten, in my opinion. Especially for home games, they're a nightmare to play at home. I think they have a really good talent. Yes, they did lose. They're one of their coordinators. Clemson took them, which W for Clemson. But I really don't think that's going to affect them too much. James Franklin is still a very, very good head coach. And I really don't think that's going to affect them much at all. Their defense is great. Their offense is incredible as well. Drew Aller is looked at a little lower, but yeah. Notre Dame, number three. They have a quarterback situation they need to take care of, but their defense and their offense in general is still so good. Their running back is very, very good. They literally went to the Natty and lost, but still a very, very, very good team. And then number four, offense for Ohio State. We already know their offense is goated, and their defense is pretty damn good as well. They're easily one of the most elite teams in the nation. That's why I have them at number four. I do think Penn State's better this year. I really do. I'm high on Penn State. I really think they're going to do really good. And I feel like if they played in a Big Ten matchup, it could be a coin flip, to be honest. But that's what I have right now. And going into number five is Clemson, my favorite team. They're a dominant force in the ACC. They did struggle in the past couple years, but we did make it to the playoffs. And played Texas. Ended up at Texas, so we ended up losing, but we put up a decent fight compared to all the other teams in the first round. I think if we go to the normal AP poll right now, the normal AP poll has Clemson at 4, which is very, very high in my opinion. I think Clemson, I mean, it's not very high. I mean, it's generous. I mean, I'm one lower, but I mean, that's it. But I'll go over more of the AP poll here in a second. But other than this, I have Clemson at 5. Their schedule this year is actually pretty rough, but Clemson pretty much lost no one. Like, barely anyone. The running back situation is going to be maybe an iffy, but with Peter Woods, TJ Parker, Cade Klubnik, one of the Heisman winner expectations, if not going to be the best QB in the nation, other than Garrett Nussmeier, is the other option of Heisman right now. A lot of very strong QBs this year. So QBs are something we're going to really have to watch out for. As long as the defense doesn't get any injuries or like they can win out their games, I think their hardest games either going to be Georgia Tech. Well, it's Georgia Tech, LSU, and South Carolina. I think Clemson will go 11-1, losing to South Carolina this year because South Carolina has out our number. Sadly to admit it, but I will be going to that Clemson v. LSU game, so I will let y'all know after that week and my rankings. Hoping the Clemson Tigers can pull out a big victory win for that. So that's going to be a fun weekend and an electric top 10 matchup. 6 is Georgia. Now, Georgia is dropping off a little bit for me, and I think they are dropping off. They are very formidable in the SEC. Their team is always good. The recruiting is always great. It's just quarterback situation. I don't know. They've also lost a couple guys. It's just there's a lot of unknowns with that team right now. But just because they're that Georgia team, I really think they're still going to be good. But at the start of the year, I think they're going to be good. But at the end of the year, I think they are going to fall off and possibly even miss the playoffs. I know that is a bold take. Very bold take. I see them going 9-3. I'll come out with that later and talk about my predictions for each team, what I think they'll go, etc. Number 7, LSU. First matchup of the week, LSU at Clemson. So we'll get a top 10 matchup. LSU has Garrett Nussmeier. Garrett Nussmeier is expected to win Heisman, or it's going to be Cade Klubnik. Two very good QBs battling it out in the first week is going to be insane. LSU's defense is also at one that's going to be really hard. It's just LSU can never win week 1 matchups. So if they do lose, expect them to drop. I will probably not drop them far because I still think they are going to be in the 12-team playoff. Without a doubt, I think they're going to be better than Georgia in the end of the year. Unless Georgia, their QB, Gunnar Stockton, gets up there or up and does better, I think then they will probably take over. But we'll have to see. Next, I have Alabama at number 8. Alabama, always a great team. There's nothing ever wrong with them. They're never really bad. Ty Simpson, their quarterback, still has a lot to prove, but their wide receiver core is insanely scary and insanely good. And their defense is always great as well. So I think they're going to have to be a team that I think could win the SEC, especially these 3 teams right there, Georgia, LSU, Alabama. It's going to be one of those 3 teams making it and winning the SEC. I really think that's going to be the case. And then number 9, Oregon. Oregon lost their QB, but and a couple defensive guys. They did recruit really well. It's a matter of, do I think they're going to be really good? I don't know. I really don't know if they're going to be really good this year. They're the one of the teams I'm also not confident, but I do think is a really great team and still a top 10 to top 12 team. We'll have to see how their year goes, but that's where I'm putting them for now. It just is what it is. Now, number 10, South Carolina. South Carolina last year showed some fire, some spark, and I think they're a really good team, both on offense and defense. Their defense lacking more than their offense, but their offense with Lenore Sellers, some of their wide receivers that are really fast. They have a good running back. Lenore Sellers is scary. He was a freshman last year. I think he's a sophomore this year. And that's why I think they're going to beat the Tigers this year, sadly. But I think they're going to be really good. They aren't going to make the SEC championship, but they could be a playoff fringe team by the end of the year. South Carolina, you got to look out for Lenore Sellers. I think he'll be in the Heisman race as well. And speaking of also teams that could, or players that could be in the Heisman race, SMU and their quarterback, Kevin Jenkins, or Kevin Jennings. I can't remember his name exactly. He is very similar to Lenore Sellers. He's very fast. He can move, throw the ball on the run. Very elusive QB. And those are very dangerous in college football because it's really hard to stop a mobile QB. Knows how to get out of the pocket, knows how to run, can also throw really well. And both of those teams have that. They have that. And SMU, why their defense is lacking a good bit, but their offense is really what propels them to do really well. I think they have a good chance of being in the ACC championship yet again, but it's either going to be them, Miami, or Georgia Tech in the ACC championship against Clemson, is my opinion. So that's how I think things are going to go there. But SMU, their defense, if their defense is better this year, and which most likely will be, and their offense is obviously going to be even more improved, they're going to be a team to watch out for and a playoff fringe team. Miami at 12. Now, Miami has a good defense, has a good offense. It's just Carson Beck went there from Georgia because of his girl, and then they broke up, which is hilarious to me. Boo Bulldogs and boo Miami, but that's just as a Clemson fan. I do think Miami is going to be decent this year. They're going to start off strong, but then I think dwindle out. Miami with Carson Beck could elevate their team. I mean, they had Cam Ward last year, so Cam Ward was a very, very good QB, one of the generational QBs for them. It's just a matter of will Carson Beck fit well with that Miami team. Number 13, Tennessee. Tennessee has a very, very good defense. Their defense has always been one of the best. It's their offense, for once, that I'm actually worried about. I would have put them probably top 10 if it wasn't for Nico leaving. With all that issue and the NIL deals, etc., Nico ended up going to UCLA, which, who knows, UCLA might have a breakout season. But they're in the Big Ten, so I don't know. I don't really know. So it's kind of a wait and see. It's will the defense be able to win them games kind of thing. And because their offense isn't going to be as explosive as it was last year or stuff like that. I just don't know. Now, number 14, Michigan. Michigan's has it up and down. They've had Ohio State's number for years. Michigan is still a very, very solid team. They're always a contender in the Big Ten. Their defense is great. Now, offense, it's going to be questionable because they have Bryce Underwood. Will they be able to do good with him? I mean, he's expected to be a pretty good QB. Other than that, I'm curious to see how they end up playing and what their record ends up going. They're either going to do really well or very mid. It could go either way, I think. Georgia Tech, one of the sneaky teams, very sneaky teams. I think they could make playoff. I really think they could as well be a playoff fringe team. Georgia Tech is a team I think all teams should watch out for because they play them. They're a very sneaky team. They can get you. They took Georgia to, I can't remember how many overtimes, 6, 7 overtimes last year and ended up losing. But that was like an insane game against a very strong Georgia team. Like, that's insane. Georgia Tech doing that, a lot of people are like, oh, it's an ACC school. It's Georgia Tech. They're not really known for their crazy, crazy good football. But they're back in there, I think, in that great football tier list. Like, they are a good team and a team you have to watch out for. They do also have returning talent, so that's going to help them a lot too. Number 16, we have the Florida Gators. Florida is going to be a great team this year. Do I think they'll make the playoffs? No, but I think they're going to make a really good bowl game. They'll probably go 9-3, maybe 8-4, maybe. I think 9-3 is their ceiling. They have a pretty low though. Well, 9-3 I wouldn't say is their ceiling. I'd say 10-2 is their ceiling. Similar with Ole Miss. Florida's QB, DJ Lagway, he's going to be probably in the Heisman running. I wouldn't doubt it either. He's going to be a very good player. A couple other players that I think are going to be in the Heisman. Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver from Ohio State, and the wide receiver, I can't remember his name. He's on the front cover of College Football 26. Fuck, I can't remember his name. But wide receiver from Alabama, I think, is also going to be in it. Having these two teams here, I feel like they're pretty evenly matched. Georgia just slightly edging it out, I think, over Ole Miss. That's 16 and 17. Now we're going to go on to 18. Illinois is one of those sneaky teams. They've been doing good. Last year they did really well. Was a playoff fringe team. I think they got some good talent possibilities, and I think they could execute very well. So don't expect them to leave the top 25 anytime soon. I think they'll be staying in it pretty much the entire year if they continue to win their games. Do I think they could make the playoff? It's a possibility that they make the playoff, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, okay. Next up is Texas A&M. Texas A&M is an interesting team. Texas A&M, I think, could be really good this year, but also couldn't be. The recruiting class is always very strong, and they always like to play to their best against ranked teams. But when it comes to, okay, 1 second, guys. But when it comes to normal games, they struggle a good bit. Like when it comes to non-ranked games, they definitely struggle. And then so I don't really know if they're going to do good this year, but I think they're definitely a top 25 team, and they deserve to be here for now. Louisville, I think, is going to have a pretty strong team this year. They lost a couple, they gained a couple of players. I could see them doing pretty well in the ACC. But do I think they're on the level of like Georgia Tech, Miami, and SMU? Not necessarily. I think they're just right below those teams, which is why they're 20th and why I have them there. Next up is Arizona State. Arizona State, I think, is still going to be a really good team with Sam Leavitt. Sam Leavitt, I think, is his name. He's a really good QB. I think he can come out and do really good in the Pac-12. I think they're in. Yeah, I think they're in the Pac-12. But being in the Pac-12, okay, my camera's back on. Sorry, guys. Next up, having all these teams here is interesting to me. But BYU showed to be one of the best Pac-12 teams out there. I think BYU is going to be pretty good again this year. Wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe make the playoffs in a possibility as the 12th seed, but we'll have to see. And similar thing to Indiana, I think Illinois is also, or Illinois, similar to Illinois is Indiana. Indiana has made tons of improvements. They've become more of a competitive program and more dominant program in the Big Ten. Earning them a spot in the top 25. They did really good last year. They made it to the playoffs. Did they win? No, not in the first round. Didn't win in the playoffs at all, but they made it to the 12-team playoffs, and that's definitely something big. And I think this team and this program is nothing but up for the next 2 to 3 years. Oklahoma. I was debating not putting Oklahoma in the top 25. For a couple reasons. Same with Boise State. But Oklahoma is one of those teams. Brent Venables, I don't know if he's the best as a head coach. He was really good as a defensive coach at Clemson. But, I mean, he's on the hot seat. If they don't do good this year, I think he's out of there and booted. He's gone. It's a matter of if Oklahoma can get a consistent game and win, they'll do good. But I just don't see them getting over that hump to become a great team. They'll be a solid and good team, but jump that hump to get the great into the great tier, I just don't see it happening. I mean, maybe out of miracle they go 8-4. Realistically, I see a 7-5 season, 6-6 possibly again, which would be what they did last year, if I remember correctly. So we'll see if that gets them going. Boise State, yet again, I think they could be in the playoffs again as that 12 seed or maybe even higher, depending on how that goes. They are now in the Mountain West Conference. I think they have always been. Yeah, never mind. They've always been in the Mountain West. Or no, are they in Pac-12 now? Big 12. These are Big 12 teams. These two, and then this is Pac-12. My bad. My brain. My brain. With their loss of Ashton Genty and a couple other players, I don't know how well they'll fare. Ashton Genty really, really, really carried that team. But he got drafted to the Raiders, and I just don't see. I don't know how well they'll do this year, especially without Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty really carried them. So it's going to be interesting to see that. And I'm going to go over some teams that just missed the top 25 for me, and that would be Missouri, which I would have put 25th, Kansas State, Utah, Baylor, Nebraska, and USC. All those teams I think are pretty damn good. They do have a chance, and I think they will end up propelling themselves eventually into the top 25. I'm pretty high on Baylor this year. I do think Baylor's going to have a very exceptional year. They did very well in recruiting. I think their offseason was very good. I think they could come out and perform very good against some of these teams. Auburn would be right below USC for me. Auburn could be a team that I could see doing pretty good this year as well. But, yeah. So that's my top 20, the Ben10clem poll top 25 for the preseason / week 1. And I'll be going to the LSU Clemson game, hoping the Clemson Tigers win. Hoping. I mean, it's going to be a home game for them, so it should be pretty fun. And I'll definitely go over that game in the week 2 poll after that. And obviously, see, this is how we have things. Where it says just missed top 25, that's going to end up saying top 25 just dropped out of the top 25, and that will be here. That will show there. And then up here is where it showed the biggest losers, how much dropped and how much. And you'll see these green arrows, as you see them right here, will show up with the number, how many they've jumped up in spots or dropped in spots. So you'll end up seeing that, and the drop spots will be all put here, in order of how many spots the most dropped to the least dropped. Anyways, that's going to be that poll. And then we're going to go over the AP poll real quick for you guys. This is the AP poll. They have Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, Miami, Arizona State, Illinois, South Carolina, Michigan, Michigan, Florida, SMU, Kansas State, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Indiana, Ole Miss, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Tennessee, and Boise State. Some of the others receiving votes were BYU, Utah, Baylor, Louisville, USC, Georgia Tech, Missouri, Tulane, Nebraska, UNLV, Toledo, Auburn, James Madison, Memphis, Florida State, Duke, Liberty, Navy, Iowa, TCU, Pitt, Army, Colorado, Louisiana, Lafayette. I do kind of agree with this poll. I'm not going to lie. I think that poll is pretty solid. I think it is a pretty solid poll. Whether I think they will keep up with it, it's a whole nother story. Because if we look here, we have the top 5 or top 4 is very similar, other than not having Notre Dame there, which I think Notre Dame is a better team than. Well, I mean, it's pretty close, I think. We'll have to see, but this is the rankings for now, and I do hope y'all enjoyed, and stay tuned for weekly uploads of the Ben10clem poll. Anyways, let me know what y'all would put your preseason top 25 to be down in the comments down below, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.